Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Dream Setlist. I got Martin Popoff joining me today. We're going to do a couple Dream Setlists on Deep Purple. Martin, thanks for coming here. We love having you on this one. I've been wanting to get you on the Dream Setlist for a while. We've got a couple in the works, so this one should be a good one. I'm going to let Martin kick us off with his dream scenario here. And we have not
All right.
compared notes, so
Okay.
I have no idea what he
Yeah.
has done or vice
Dream
versa.
scenarios. So this is a little crazy. So fasten your seatbelt. So it's Deep Purple. November 12th, 1984 is this concert, and they're touring this record. They're playing Yankee Stadium, which might seem like a little bit of a stretch, but this is because Queen hasn't played in the States since 1982, and they're just doing a one-off concert in the States in 1984. So Queen is headlining. To make this thing even more special, they said, well, let's bring on Deep Purple as a support. They've just finished their new album. They're just going to be off to Australia to start touring the thing, and they want to have some fun. They want to let loose and have a cool time in a one-off sort of thing to blow off some steam, having finished this album. So it's a 16 song set list. It's not super long. They're going to whack this thing off in 70 to 80 minutes. There's going to be no encore. They're just on and off. They're a support band, Yankee Stadium. So I get to visit my buddy Pete. I get to go to the museums. Everything's cool. Trip to New York. All right. So they kick off with Perfect Strangers. That great organ intro off the new album, nice dramatic opener, one of the best songs on the record. They next move into Pictures of Home, one of my favorite unheralded Deep Purple songs, Machine Head. Love that track. Wished it would be a bigger thing in the set list, but it's probably my favorite song on that record. They move into Under the Gun off of Perfect Strangers. So here they are debuting new songs that have just come out. And that's another one that's a pretty cool, heavy one off of that. Then we're into Smooth Dancer from Who Do We Think We Are? My favorite song from that, nice heavy one. Nice and simple, so it'll sound good in an outdoor situation, right? It's got just the big chords, the spaces between it, just a good hard hitting rocker song that's a bit of a deep track. Next, to kind of keep the camaraderie going with this fragile new lineup, they consent to play a Rainbow song, and they play Lost in Hollywood. So, Ian says, I don't want to do any of that demons and wizards stuff. This one sounds like something I could live with. Maybe he sings it drunk in Hollywood just to make it his own, but it's a great song that Richie's great on it, and it's got that cool little classical part in the middle that John Lord could have a lot of fun on. So that's the song they pick from Rainbow, to appease Roger and Richie, because Roger is in the band at that time as well, to represent what these guys have just come through. And then they decide to make it a little mini suite. They do Future Shock from Gillan. So that's one that Richie would really like. It's kind of like, it sounds like a song that Richie would like. Richie doesn't want to do any of that jokey stuff. No laughing in heaven or anything like that. Just give us a hard hitting rocker. And then finally for Ian Pace and John Lord, they do Young Blood, a Whitesnake song, nice heavy song off of Saints and Sinners. Again, fits nice into the set. Then we're back into the new album again with Knocking at Your Back Door. The big cool epic off of the new album. Then another one that feels like Smooth Dancer, No One Came from Fireball, like a good heavy rocking song. And it's one that's not too taxing on Ian. He can just talk his way through it because that's what the vocal is like on that one, right? Then they bring it down a little for Anyone's Daughter, a cool little mellow respite in there, which would be a good funny one to do on there. Richie's on playing slide, and Roger is, John is straight piano on that one. Ian's up there, standing up there with a tambourine, hitting along. So just a little break. Then we're back to Nobody's Home from the new album. So they're testing out these songs because they're about to go to Australia, right, to tour this record. Then we're into Bad Attitude. They say this is a song we're working on. It might show up on our next album. Good rocker that no one's ever heard. They're not going to hear for a couple of years. Then it turns out November 12th, 1984, they're in New York. It's Buck Dharma's birthday. So they bring Buck on and they do Godzilla with Buck Dharma. So that'd be really cool, right? So it's a nice, simple song, really cool one, big hit. So for Buck's birthday, Buck stays on for Smoke on the Water. Godzilla blowing smoke on the water. Everybody knows Smoke on the Water. So they don't make Buck work too hard. It's a song that he probably knows how to play already. So Buck stays on and they do Smoke on the Water. And then they do Space Truckin' as the 15th track. You got to do some of the big hits so they don't tear apart the stadium. So Space Truckin', really cool, heavy one off of Machine Head again.
But not the 20-minute version of Space Truckin'.
No, right? everything here is the 3.5, 4 version. There's no fooling around. They're just banging it out because they've just got to get their point across because Queen's coming on right
there
after.
You go.
So
Chris Allo is loving you right now. Chris Allo is loving this set list.
Oh yeah. Okay, last track. They announced this is our final number. There won't be any encores. I hate encores. I'm glad that they're not doing an encore. And they do Burn. So they break the ice. Ian like decides, we've got to do some of these great songs. So this sets them up for the future next 35 years of Ian saying, you know what, I can do songs from the David Coverdale era. So they go on and they do Burn, and it goes down a storm, and then they leave the stage. That's it. We all get ready for Queen.
Wow. That's fun, man. Would I love to see something like that? Holy cow. That is awesome. Yeah, could you just imagine if like Ian ever agreed to sing the Coverdale stuff?
Well, I told you the story when I asked him that one time, right? I mean, he was like, no, why would I ever do that? I didn't write those songs, blah, blah, blah. It's like I said, Ian, you want people to talk about the band. You want to mix things up. Because he hates playing Highway Star. Like, it just drives him crazy. And a lot of those hits, right? So it's like, man, why don't you just shake it up? Like, do something, that would, really get everybody talking. And like that's a milestone gig if you ever pulled out Burn, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, shit, Coverdale had to sing the Mark II stuff, right? I'm sure he didn't like doing that either.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And I'm sure, you could go through those albums and find stuff that's not super taxing on the voice or whatever.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And we're not talking about 7-year-old Ian too. I mean, this could have come up at 50-year-old Ian and 60-year-old Ian, right?
Yeah.
Could have been at any point along the way that they could have done some of these songs, right?
Yeah. And when we're talking about a song or two, right? We're not talking about doing a whole set of Coverdale stuff. Yeah. That was very cool scenario. And it's funny because so Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium, I think holds about, for a concert, probably 55,000, maybe 60. I saw Pink Floyd there. There's a lot of people there. So yeah, in 84, there was a lot of excitement about the Purple album, right? So that they would have brought a lot of their own fans. Queen hadn't been here in a few years, right? More than a few years. So that the two of them together could definitely pack that place, I think.
Yeah, I would say so, because I believe Queen never played North America again after 1982. They were on the Hot Space tour, and I think that was the end.
Yeah,
they never came back.
No, they never came back. Yeah, very cool. All right, so my show is also going to be in New York because, of course, got to be, right? I am actually going to take an existing gig, but I'm going to completely turn things around. So Madison Square Garden, March 13th, 1974. It's a Stormbringer tour early on. That actually did happen. They did play Madison Square Garden, March 13th, 1974. However, on this show, the band is not going to play any Mark II era stuff at all, or Mark I. None. This is all going to be all Burn and Stormbringer. That's it. Okay. So, which is something I have always wanted to see. I mean, I've seen Mark II plenty of times. I've seen Mark 4 and 5 and 6 and whatever, but I never got to see the Mark III era of the band. And for me, I want to, and I kind of hinted at this before on our second Banana Vocalist show. It's like, for me, I never really enjoyed much Coverdale and Hughes singing the Ian Gillan stuff. It just doesn't work for me for the most part. I understand why they had to do it and all that kind of stuff. But for my show, because I make the rules here and this is my dream set, there's no Mark II era stuff. These guys are going to concentrate only on the albums that they did together. Okay, with this lineup, they're going to open up with Burn. Okay, because you gotta open up every lineup, every show with this lineup, as my dog goes ballistic in the background with Burn. It's gotta happen. From there, we're gonna go to Might Just Take Your Life. Okay, we're gonna keep this gonna be pretty upbeat to start the show, and then we're gonna go from there to Lady Double Dealer, Get Out of My Way, right? So big and boisterous, fast moving. From there, we're gonna go to Lay Down, Stay Down. Okay. From there, we're going to go to probably one of my top 3 favorite songs from this lineup that they did play live on this tour. And every recording I've ever heard of it just went down really, really well. The Gypsy, great song. From there, now we're going to get a little bit of jamming going on here, right? Because you got to have it's Deep Purple. You got to have a little bit. So You Fool No One, the 15-minute version at least, right? So you're going to have the opening John Lord, Hammond organ solo. Then the band's going to come in, play the song. Then you're going to have a little bit of bass from Glenn Hughes. And then Richie's going to just sit out there all by himself for about 5 minutes and do all the guitar histrionics because you got to have it. Then they're going to finish out the song. They're going to go from there into Highball Shooter, which I don't think they ever played live. From there, we're going to slow things down a little bit, and they're going to play Soldier of Fortune. That's going to be like the one little break in the set where they kind of, maybe they'll pull out acoustic guitars or something like that. Hey, why not, right? So from there, we're going to go to Holy Man, okay? Another good song. Glenn's going to take the lead vocal on that one. From there, we're going to stick on the kind of mid-paced, kind of moody kind of thing for Sail Away. And I kind of want to hear it funky like Whitesnake did it recently on the Purple album. I think that would be pretty cool. And then for the last song of the main part of the set, because I'm going to fill an encore in here, they're going to do Mistreated, which is going to bring the house down. And it's going to be, the 2 guys are going to be out there singing co-lead vocals. Richie's going to do this big, long guitar solo. Everybody's going to be up on their feet at the end of the song. They're going to go behind the stage. They're going to encore. Let's more. Blackmore's going to be like, all right, screw it. Tonight we're at the Garden. We're going to do an encore. I hate doing encores, but we're going to do it tonight. And they're going to come out and they're going to play Stormbringer. They're going to bring the house down. It's going to be the heaviest thing they've done all night. And then Good Night, New York. And before you know it, a couple months later, Richie is off to Rainbow. So I would love to see this. In fact, we always talk about like those concerts you never got to see, or those bands you never got to see because you were too young or whatever, or those concert regrets, so to speak. To this day, one of my biggest kind of would love to things in life would be to see the Mark III era of Deep Purple. I would just love it. I mean that for me, it's like it's up there.
That would put the stamp on it too. What a night of vocals that would be, right? But then the fans would destroy the Garden after that.
Yeah,
right?
they'd be ripping up the CD. Yeah, Deep Purple would bang.
Yeah, that would be it. Yeah, they'd never come back. So they couldn't even do the show. Queen would say, we want Deep Purple on the show. They say, no. Do you know what happened in 1974? Deep Purple is not coming to town. They are banned for life from New York.
They ruined the Garden. We had to cancel hockey games after that because the seats were all destroyed or whatever. Never going to happen, right? So, yeah, but I would love to see that. I've always wanted, and quite frankly, they really, if they ever wanted to, and I almost went this route on this. I almost said, well, let's go into the future. Let's go to like 2022, and Richie gets together with Glenn and David and Ian, and maybe Don Airey fills in for the departed, for the late John Lord, and they do kind of like a first time ever reunion of Mark III.
That's amazing. Yeah, they could absolutely do that.
Still could, right? There is time. There is time yet. So guys, if any of you are watching, please give it some consideration, because I know I would love to see it. I would give anything to go see that. I would go hop on a plane. I would buy a ticket and hop on a plane to go see that at somewhere in the UK, wherever, Hammersmith, wherever. I don't care. That's how badly I would like to see.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible that they could actually go do that. Yeah.
I mean, you almost have to have John Lord there, but in the kind of honor of just being able to do it, I think that obviously Don would fit in perfectly there. So, and then Don has played with all those guys before in various different incarnations and things. So wow. So I think this was great, because I think we had 2 totally different perspectives. I mean, yours is complete fun and like out there, but it's like, could you imagine like if they ever did? I mean, anyone's daughter, like in a Deep Purple live set, right? And you threw some songs in there they never played live that I would have loved to have seen.
Wicked. I can't believe Highball Shooter. Yeah, that's such a great heavy song. I can't believe they never played that. That's crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny when you look back on that lineup of the bands, and they had all these songs, but because the spirit of Deep Purple back in the day was to do all these long extended jams, I mean, you had a set that consisted of like 7-8 songs, but because 3 or 4 of them were 15-20 minutes long, and you had to play the Smoke on the Water and Highway Star and Space Truck, and you had to play those, a lot of those songs from Burn and Stormbringer kind of got ignored, and they never played them, which is a shame, I think. But that was the '70s, and you had to play your big hits, right?
Soldier Fortune with David, heavy and alive, but it would sound like Bad Company at times, right? That whole set, right?
Yeah,
it's cool.
Exactly.
Right on.
So this was a lot of fun. Obviously, talking about my favorite band of all time is always a lot of fun, but I love Martin's choices, and obviously, I would love to go see mine. So there you have it, everybody. Put your dream set list for Deep Purple in the comments below. Remember, it's any era, any songs, past, present, future. If you want to come up with a dream scenario for when COVID's done, and kind of like what I just did with the thoughts about the Mark III reunion type of thing. Whatever you want to do, any songs. If you want to just hear the hits in your dream scenario, put them down. It doesn't really matter. You want to have Richie out. You want to bring Tommy Bolin back to life. You want to throw John Sykes in there because we haven't seen John Sykes in a million years. Hey, do that too. Whatever you want to do. Create your dream Deep Purple lineup and your dream set list. It's all up to you. So I want to thank Martin Popoff for joining us here. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. For Martin Popoff, I am Pete Pardo. See you all later on.